In today's podcast, which I have entitled Choices and Consequences, I want to share the story about two young men I met nearly 10 years ago. Both came from extremely difficult backgrounds. Both showed incredible talent. However, the choices they made along the way led them down fundamentally and dramatically different paths. At its core, this is a story about opportunity, mentorship, accountability, and the power of personal choices. 20 years ago, as the CEO of a regional bank, I was instrumental in the establishment of a scholarship program to support students from underprivileged backgrounds who showed exceptional academic prowess. Every year, we would select 15 to 20 students and provide them with financial assistance to complete their high school certificates and, in some instances, their associate degrees. The goal was quite simple: give talented kids a chance to succeed despite the obstacles they faced in life. We saw education as a great equalizer. It was through this program that I met these two young men, who, for the purpose of this story, we will simply refer to as Student A and Student B. Both had talent, both had ambition, but their journeys would unfold in ways I could have never predicted when I first encountered them. Student A was bright, ambitious, and determined. Notwithstanding his home environment, he had managed to finish high school. His mother had struggled with addiction, and his father was not an integral part of his life. Despite his circumstance, Student A showed a lot of promise, and he had a strong desire to further his education. I first met Student A in person when his father asked if I could assist him in securing a scholarship to pursue his associate degree in business and accounting. At the time of our first encounter, Student A was already working and saving what little he could to attend university. I developed an extremely good rapport with him, and I encouraged him to attend church. Because of age restrictions, however, Student A was not eligible for one of our scholarships at the bank, and I then took the decision to help him personally with his tuition to attend university. I felt proud of what I was able to accomplish with Student A. While this was not necessarily a rags to riches story, it was close enough. He had gone through a lot in his life and was now being presented with a wonderful opportunity to redeem himself and prove to the world and all the naysayers around him that success can emerge from the most unlikely of places. The new term arrived, and I was eagerly looking forward to hearing from Student A how everything had gone during his first day of class. It felt like a proud moment for me, the first day of the rest of his life. I was ready to celebrate a success story. But then, just as his term began, indeed, the very first Monday of the first term, I read the local newspaper and literally could not believe what I was reading. Student A had been involved in a robbery over that very weekend, the entirety of which was captured on CCTV camera. To say I was shocked would be the understatement of the year, but worse was yet to come. Student A was eventually charged, but was able to get bail while awaiting trial. While on bail, he became involved in another altercation, this time involving the shooting and tragic death of a close family member. Student A was eventually convicted after being found guilty, and at this point in time is facing every likelihood of spending the rest of his natural life incarcerated and in prison. Needless to say, the tragic events surrounding the life of Student A was heartbreaking. Here was a young man with so much potential, a support network, resources, and opportunities. And yet, choices and circumstances led him down a tragic path. Now let's turn to student B. He too came from a challenging home with limited parental support and significant obstacles. When he first joined our scholarship program, he struggled academically. In fact, at one point, he even altered his grades to make them appear better than they actually were. When I discovered that he had cheated, I arranged a meeting with him and his guardian and confronted him with the information which I had. He broke down, terrified of the consequences and petrified that he might lose his scholarship. But instead of cutting him off, we decided to give him a second chance, placing him on probation and providing structured mentorship and support. Student B went on to complete his studies and was able to graduate from the very best high school in the country at that time. But here again, the story does not end here. After graduation, I lost contact with student B until one day while reading the newspapers, I came across an article involving a young man who was charged for attacking his guardian and causing serious bodily damage. To my utter dismay and disbelief, the perpetrator was student B, and the person who he was charged for assaulting was the very same guardian who had accompanied him to the meeting at the bank those many years ago. About a year later, I received a handwritten letter from student B. In it, he thanked me for the support which the bank had provided over the years. He expressed his embarrassment and disappointment for being incarcerated. And he ended the letter by making a humble request for assistance with finding a job. On reading the letter, I was moved to tears. Apart from the eloquence with which it was written and the exquisite penmanship, especially in a time of emails, there was a genuineness about his letter. It was deep and it was real. It also identified all the themes that I normally associate with: redemption, poverty, second chances, and perhaps, most importantly, tenacity. I saw someone who, if given a second chance, would spare absolutely no effort in grabbing the opportunity with both hands and running with it. Once I had digested the contents of the letter, I contacted a very good friend, explained the situation to him, and was able to rescue a job as a handyman in the maintenance department for student B. The last time I spoke to him, he was still employed with the organization, and he was exploring the prospect of completing a certificate course in air conditioning and refrigeration. So what do these two similar but yet distinct journeys teach us? Well, for starters, opportunity is not enough. Student A had support, he had resources and guidance, but made choices that had devastating and life-altering consequences for him. Secondly, mentorship matters. We can never underestimate the impact of a mentorship program. However, mentorship programs must be combined with accountability. Student B benefited from structured oversight, second chances, and encouragement which guided his decisions. The third lesson from this twin tale is that character and resilience are crucial. No matter the environment, a young person's internal drive to make responsible choices can fundamentally alter the trajectory in a positive and meaningful way of their lives. Fourthly, and finally, second chances can work, but timing and intervention are key. Early guidance, honest feedback, and measurable expectations can help redirect promising talent. So where does all of this leave us? For me, the key takeaway is this. Student A's story is a cautionary tale of potential wasted. Student B's story is a testament to redemption, perseverance, and the power of mentorship. Both stories are real, but their lessons are universal. As mentors, educators, and members of our community, we all have a responsibility to support young people, not just financially, but emotionally, morally, and practically. Something to think about. A word to the wise.